Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I, Javedi Ali Sayed, would like to welcome everyone today on behalf of the EPC's Tech Redron team to the final round of Tech Debate. We have with us four finalists who were selected after a rigorous competition from yesterday's rounds. These participants are going to engage in a one on one debate with each other, which means we will have six debates to be completely engrossed into. So today we have with us Abhishek Chautmal, the chairperson of EPEC. He truly is a visionary leader to have led the EPC in an online fest during these tough times. He has been the publicity secretary in his second year itself, which is quite a remarkable achievement. Also, today is his birthday, and on behalf of the technical team, I wish you a very happy birthday, Abhishek. I would now request you to speak a few words.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. And today I want to take this opportunity and appreciate the whole technical team, right from the secretaries, coordinators, and volunteers, because of whom this fest is going to take place. Like, completely, the zest of the fest is because of you guys and the hard work and dedication put forward by you guys. So, on very rare instances, we find such a hardworking team who put forward and show their credibility with each upcoming event. So, thank you so much, guys. And tech hard talk is something different and unique this time you have brought in technical committee. So thank you so much, and it is really an honor to have Pratham and Mehul as well with us to judge this event. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. So we also have Aishwarya Firke, a very lively and dynamic person who never steps back from taking initiatives. She is responsible for taking the college aesthetics to a whole new level. Despite being the vice chairperson, she has balanced her academics and extracurricular activities very competently. Aishwarya, I would be delighted if you have something to say to us today.
So thank you for the very good introduction, Miriam. I was just saying, whatever it is, I've always seen technical committee bringing up new and creative ideas. I'm very happy that they have come up with a beautiful debate, which actually is going to bring a lot of unique things into people's minds. It could actually help exploring new ideas, new technologies which we have today, and I would actually congratulate the finalists also, and best of luck for all the further process.
Okay, great. So among us, we also have three judges, Mayuresh Chaudhary, who is a third year student and the present technical secretary of the esteemed EPEC. Then we have Mehul Nachankar and Pratham Regunwal, who are fourth year students and the former technical secretaries. They've been research interns at KIC during their second year. So moving on with the event, we have given our finalists a list of topics yesterday, and today they will be debating on those topics one after the other, with 3 minutes of gap in between to recall their points. So for our first pair today, we have Anvay Deshpande and Harshita Jain. We will now spin the wheel and give them their topics. Just a minute. Okay, so your topic, Anvay and Harshita, your topic is Can we rely on cryptocurrency? We will toss a coin and see which side you would want. One of you tell me which side would you want, heads or tails?
Heads.
Okay, Anvay heads. Okay, Anvay heads.
I'd like to go against it.
Okay, fine. So Harshita, you will be taking the affirmative and you will speak first. So we will now take a break of 3 minutes and we'll get back later.
All right.
Take care. Okay, Anvi and Harshita, you may now start your debate.
Yeah. To start the debate, I would like to say that cryptocurrency is a digital asset which is used to exchange in order to get something. I am against this type of exchange because more than 2 millions of dollar have been spent from 2017 to 2021, and many of the currency is lost due to the double exchange and also forking of the blockchain. This would be my introduction.
Okay, so as my opponent has very rightly mentioned that cryptocurrency is basically a digital asset which has been primarily designed in order to act as a medium of exchange between two people who want to get the transactions done, and here individual coin ownership records are being stored in a computerized database, right? So I favor cryptocurrency because it has made exchanges possible and the involvement of banking systems is almost negligible in this case, and it has made coin money exchanges and transfers more viable and more volatile.
Yeah, to add on to your point, you said that it is decentralized, right? That banks don't keep a check on it, but it is also a threat because it is owned by some of the organization which can control the number of cryptocurrency that they are producing. So don't you think that would be a major issue with the cryptocurrency? Because the supply and demand, the cryptocurrency is majorly based on supply and demand. So if the organization is controlling the cryptocurrency, then won't it be unfair with the people who are owning it?
See, it won't be unfair because some organization has to necessarily play a role, because we all know how hacking and all of that stuff has become very prevalent these days, and people can nowadays easily hack something that goes around over the internet. So an organization definitely has to play a role in this, but it's just not the banks this time. It's a different organization which is well aware of how cryptocurrency works, and that comes into picture in this case to keep a track of how the databases and how all the records are being maintained. So it is doing that work. Just because those organizations are playing a third party role in this case doesn't necessarily imply that they are going to do some scam with it and would lead to downfall of the economy via cryptocurrency.
Yeah, but if you see in the latest banking system, also the bank is playing a major role in the currency system. So, what is the difference between the cryptocurrency and the latest currency? Why would you differentiate between those two? Because a cryptocurrency is a virtual asset, whereas in physical asset you are owning something which is in turn giving you the money. But cryptocurrency is like a virtual currency and you don't have a physical asset for it. So
Yeah.
how would you justify that?
See, so we are all moving towards digitalization, and I think digital money does definitely play a role in this, because something which you can do, quickly and over the internet, you have easy access to, will definitely help us only in the future. Physical money definitely does play a role, but we all are aware of how extortion takes place. This also puts a limit and puts a curb to extortion money. So cryptocurrency in this case favors a lot, basically, for all the citizens who are using it. Bitcoin is being compared to gold, so I guess it does hold some value, because of which such kind of comparisons and relevance is being put forward.
Yeah, but Bitcoin is compared to gold. But if you look at the latest trend of the Bitcoins and the latest trend from 2017 to 2021 or forward, there are major hacks and there are also a downfall of cryptocurrency to a limit of like 15%, which is very much to the user who are not able to afford Bitcoins and who have taken the Bitcoins. So how would they benefit from these Bitcoins? Large institute or corporations are benefiting from the cryptocurrencies, but what about the majority of the people that are playing a major role in the country or the citizenship, we can say?
Yeah, so as you mentioned the statistics about how in recent times cryptocurrency has led towards downfall and all of that. So I don't think that that suggests that cryptocurrency should not be considered at all. According to me, such latest trends only convey people who are into cryptocurrency to be cautious about it. These trends only suggest people to invest wisely. They make them more aware and more wise about how to handle cryptocurrency or how to deal with it. They don't necessarily suggest that cryptocurrency is bad, because then if you look at the stock markets, even they keep fluctuating. So does that mean that people should stop investing in stocks as well? No, right? The trends basically make people aware of it. They don't really suggest that, you should completely let go of a particular thing.
Yeah, your point is partially correct. Like you mentioned, the stock market is containing a physical asset or some kind of assets that a company is owning, right? But if you see cryptocurrency is not a physical asset that anyone is owning. It is like a virtual coin or a virtual, you can say, cash that an organization is giving on basis of supply and demand. And while declaring, they declare that 22 million bitcoins are released, and on basis of supply and demand the price fluctuation occurs. But here, if a person or an organization contains more than major like more than 50% of the bitcoins, the fluctuation would be in the hands of the person rather than the majority.
Yeah.
So in stocks this won't happen. So cryptocurrency is, we can say, a lower hand as compared to stock, as you compared to stocks. But even the other assets that we possess, that are more important than cryptocurrency is what I feel.
Yeah, okay. So, as much as I respect your opinion that cryptocurrency is virtual, again, in my opinion, a virtual asset or something which we possess digitally will always come in handy in the future if we take into account all the factors, and we just don't go away with the flow, or just don't invest just because we have seen people investing into it. A proper research and a proper strategy towards dealing with cryptocurrency is what I suggest, and if we do them wisely, the outcome will surely be very fruitful, since I think the future scope is very bright of India as well in cryptocurrency. Although the latest trend suggests something otherwise, cryptocurrency should definitely be taken into account because of many factors which I mentioned. That firstly, extortion is limited in case of cryptocurrency, and since all the records are being computerized and being maintained over a database, it reduces the danger of your information being pilfered here and there. So that's why, in my opinion, cryptocurrency should definitely be considered by the citizens, and they should be very wise while investing in it or buying them.
Yeah, but there is one more flaw in this blockchain, because if you see, there are miners that are controlling the what we call blockchain. So if a miner is a have multiple powers, like if a miner have powers, he can spend a cryptocurrency through a fraudulent way and then fork the path and then spend it again. So this is called double spending in cryptocurrency or Bitcoin terms. So how would we justify that? Because we are spending like 1 lakh rupees and again we are spending the same 1 lakh rupees. So won't it be unfair with the trader or the person who is selling it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that certain rules and regulations which currently exist in terms of cryptocurrency, they should definitely be taken into account and modified. As you mentioned about the trends, we should keep those trends in mind. We should see where we are lacking basically, and what is causing those downfalls, and those trends should be taken into account, and certain regulations as to how cryptocurrency should exist should be made. That's what I feel.
Okay, so what is the main idea behind promoting the cryptocurrency right now? Because right now we are in a stage of pandemic, and also the market is also down. If you look at it, and the Bitcoin is also falling. It
Yeah.
is having a downfall. So what would you say on that?
Yeah, so the main motive, or the main motivation behind promoting cryptocurrency right now would be keeping in mind the future scope, basically analyzing all the plus points cryptocurrency has right now, keeping in mind the drawbacks, making necessary amendments into it, and looking forward to achieve the future scope and the outcome which we expect out of cryptocurrency. That should be the current motive according to me, to promote cryptocurrency, and that's my closing statement as well.
Okay, so the last point to add, I would say that if you are supporting this for future scope, what I think is supporting cryptocurrency for future is like walking in darkness, because we don't know how the trend would go, because we don't know what the trend would go the next day. So how can we predict for the future? So I guess cryptocurrency shouldn't be favored at this stage till the improvements are done, as you mentioned rightly, and the database should be more secure and safe. And process like forking and double spending should not be considered, and miners should not be given a power to fork or change the path of the blockchain so as to ensure the safety of the user. So right now, the cryptocurrency I don't think needs promotion at this stage. Thank you. That would be my closing statement.
Okay, thank you guys. That was a very captivating discussion. Now we have our second pair for the day, that is Mustafa and Hudaifa. Anvi and Harshita, you may now lead the
Thank you.
meet. Okay, we will spin the wheel now. Okay, the second topic for the day is technology helping people with their cognitive abilities. So, Mustafa and Hudaifa, this is your topic for the day. One of you, please tell me which side of the coin would you like to choose?
I'll choose heads.
Heads, okay. Okay, we have heads, Mustafa. So, do you want to go for or against?
Yeah, sorry. I would like to go against the topic.
Okay, fine. So, we'll take a break of 3 minutes again. You can recall your points and then we'll start again.
Thank you.
Okay, Mustafa and Hudaifa, you may now start your debate.
Mustafa, would you like to give the
Okay, I would
introducing
like to
line?
begin by yes.
Go ahead, Mustafa.
Okay, I would like to begin by saying that we live in a society which is powered by technology. It has been a constant engagement with our smartphones, our tablets, and other internet-based technologies. And then our technology has been developing at an alarming rate, and but it has also dramatically impacted our society in good ways as well as bad ways. And today we're going to be discussing those impacts on our cognitive and intellectual, aspects. So that's my opening statement. Thank you.
Okay, so the topic given to us was is technology helping our cognitive skills? Well, I would like to say yes, it is, because as we can see at the moment that the classes are online and everything that we learn are online. And other than that, what I tend to believe is everything that we want to learn from our hearts, anything that we are dedicated towards can be learned online. And I say this because I've done that, and not just me, right? Elon Musk states that his son has been studying just by Reddit and YouTube, and he's ready to go to Mars at the moment. So I think yeah, technology is pretty much helping the cognitive human skills.
So I would like to add on your point that technology, yes, while it is learning, it also helps. You know, it inhibits our skills to memory skills. For example, it changes our way to think. Like, for example, when you read a Reddit article or some article on Facebook, you only focus on the most more concrete details. Like, you don't really rely on our memory anymore. We have search engines to do our job for us, and then we only rely on small snippets of information rather than the whole abstract concept. It can also that's why I'm saying the more we reliant we become on these articles, these search engines, the less evolved our memory gets. So yeah.
Okay, so there are 8 cognitive skills, and memory is not one of them, Mustafa. Okay. I totally understand your point, but I hope you get my point as well, right? And I would like to add on to this, like about what you just told me about, right? So technology does not inhibit human skills, right? We use them, right? Like, are you getting what I'm trying to tell you? Just give me an audio,
Yeah.
okay? So yeah, so that is how it goes. If once we start using technologies for the betterment of our own cognitive skills, because we've seen technology is helping us build our cognitive skills and improve it in many aspects, right? This what we are doing at the moment is technology helping us with our cognitive skills. Like, do you agree to this? Right? So
Yes.
this is
Okay.
a pure example of what is going on right now and about what the topic given to us is, right? So I would say that, yeah, what you said at the moment that it inhabits, it does not. We use them. We use technology for us.
Okay, so I would like to add by saying that while it does help with memory, yeah, memory is not a cognitive ability, but it's a part of the brain, and it mostly doesn't help because, as I said, we rely mostly on search engines. Now, in the 90s, we used to remember phone numbers, email addresses, etc. Now we just keep them on our phones, and we don't remember anything. We get into an argument, we just use a search engine. Well, that's not particularly a bad thing, but it can lead to a certain harm in the future. That's how it can make us more impulsive as well. Now, most of us use social media as a form of instant gratification. That's how we have no self control on ourselves. So, like,
Mhm.
you're more likely to be addicted to social media than you studying or working hard.
Yeah, I get your point. Okay, so this is where we are heading, right? So you're talking about memory now, and yeah, as I told you, the memory part does not relate to our topic, but since you want to go down the memory lane, let's go down the memory lane. I'll tell you what. See, in the 90s, we do used to remember the phone numbers and stuff. Why don't we now? Is your question, right? We don't now because we have, saved contacts option in our mobile phones, right? That's the reason why we don't. But if we want to, we can. We are still humans, and I believe that our abilities are still as it was in the past. It's just that we are more occupied with other problems at the moment rather than relying upon our memory. We are more in of hustle, right? We don't want to rely on our memory at the moment because we have other things that are doing that for us. For example, if we are in trouble right now, right, and we give a call to somebody, imagine you are in trouble and your memory, right, you are relying on your memory, and then just one digit goes wrong out of 10. What happens next? You're still in trouble. If I give a phone call which is saved in my contact list, I might get out of trouble at the moment, right? So that is how it goes. And as for the social media aspect, see, social media is addicting. It is. But so is other drugs, right? So we can't just state that drugs and technologies are ruining our cognitive skills. No, they're not, right? Because see, social media is addictive, but getting addicted to it is a choice. And as you told me that the memory thing would be harmful in the future, I'll tell you about the future a little bit. The only thing that I'm certain of is that future is uncertain, right? That is the only thing that I'm sure about. So we can't just predict based on the facts that we have at the moment, so that we predict the future. This is not a game of chess, Mustafa. Like, is that is what I feel. You can't just predict the nature's next move, is what I'm trying to tell you. You agree to my point, don't you,
Okay,
right?
so those are some
Yeah.
yeah, those are some really good points. And I would like to also add by saying that social media and just technology in general, it also obstructs our ability to empathize. Like, it's easier to empathize when we're looking at certain persons. When you observe their expressions, their body language, their gestures, etc. So also, compassionate people tend to spend less time on technology on social media than people who are self-centered. That's my point.
No, Mustafa, you're wrong. See, empathization and sympathization are two, very, you can't just put them in, terms of technology, right? Because technology does not harm the, like, emotions, is what I'll tell you. Because see, um, people can still empathize while they're addicted to technology. They can, because first of all, empathization again is not a cognitive skill. It is not a cognitive ability. There are only 8 cognitive abilities, right? Empathization, sympathy, they're not one of them. Anyway, let's go down to empathy again. Your statement you just told me, could you please elaborate a bit more? Because I strongly feel social media and technology. Because I can understand social media part is still coming in, right?
See, what I was trying to say is, like,
Mhm.
you're more prolonged to feel empathetic to a person when you're seeing them face to face. Like, then you're just scrolling on your doom scrolling on your mobile phone. That's what I'm
Okay.
trying to say. Like,
Yeah,
when you
yeah, yeah.
observe
Okay.
their
I,
facial
I
expressions
totally
and
get your
etc.
point, and your point is valid right now. But I'll tell you what, right? Why do you want to emphasize while we are learning, right? See, a teacher, he comes in, he does a job, and then he goes back home, right? Like, I mean, he's still inside the house teaching us on the Zoom classes. He's done his part, we've understood perfectly. That's done. Because see, when there's no face-to-face interaction, why do you need emotions when there's no face-to-face interactions? They do their work, we do our work. But now again, it's a bit robotic, right? Isn't it? But see, empathy and sympathy can also be put into words. Words are amazing things, right? That can do magical stuff. We've all heard, we've all seen that, right? So, empathy and sympathy can also be shown through words. If there's a bad teacher, he's going to be rude, right? If the person cannot sympathize, he's either going to be rude or he's either going to be like, whatever. However, he shows that he does not show that. Basically, if the person is not empathetical enough, he's not gonna, it comes in the nature, right? So that is how it goes. So I would like to conclude by saying that, yeah, your points are valid. There were some points that you said that are valid, like the most recent one, obviously. Like, let's take that into consideration. So I would like to say, yeah, there are plus and the minuses, but I see that technology is vastly helping us, right? So I'd say that technology is helping our cognitive skills, right? And what you told me about technology not helping our cognitive skills, whatever skills you mentioned weren't cognitive. So I'm not actually convinced about it, right? So I'm still for the motion, and that's about it.
Okay, so I would like to conclude by saying that while yes, technology does help our cognitive abilities, it's distracting make us aggressive, and if it's used in limit, technology is really helpful. And that's how I would like to conclude.
Okay, that was a very great debate, Hudaifa and Mustafa. Mustafa, you may now leave the meet, and Hudaifa and Anvay are next up. Anvay, can you switch on your camera? Yes.
Yeah.
So your topic is Neuralink should be promoted. Who would like to take heads or tails? One of you go first.
Is it okay if I do that, Anma?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go
Perfect.
for heads.
Okay, so it's heads. Hudaifa, would you like to go for the affirmative or the negative side?
I'll go against the motion, the negative side.
Against the motion. So Anvay, you'll be speaking first. We'll take a break of 3 minutes now.
Yeah.
Hudaifa and Anvi, you may start your debate.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the unmixed first line.
I guess you are going first because you won the
Yeah, okay.
toss.
Let's do that then. I would say Neuralink is not supposed to be, used. Because if we do insert neural links in our brains, we are nothing more than robots, is what I think about, right? So that would be my including line.
Okay, to start with, first of all, Neuralink is a neural technology that is implanted in the brain, so as to make it machine and brain to combine it like a cyborg. And I specifically support this because it would give a whole new perspective of life, and it would also give us the opportunity to heal and cure the disease that we are not able to do at this stage. So that would be my opening statement.
Okay, I kind of not get the whole finding the purpose of life part and curing the disease part. Could you please elaborate that, please, Anna?
I never mentioned that finding a I never mentioned anything about life. I am
Yeah.
like biological side, and
Mm-hmm.
biological side means cancer or any
Mm-hmm.
other cells that is Alzheimer or a paralysis, which can be
Mm-hmm.
improved by the Neuralink. And the experiments that have been conducted recently are giving positive results, which are showcasing that it is going in a positive way rather than a negative way.
Oh, well, yeah. See, there are both positives and negative sides to one situation, is what I believe. So there might be both positive sides and a negative side to this current situation. But then we again have to play the balance scale here, right? Which sides outweighs the other.
Yeah,
So
so how
in
are
that way,
you going to create the balance? Like, on what criteria are you deciding that what is positive and what is negative? It is wholly perspective based, right? So, what we
it
can
is.
see biologically, it is going in a positive way. So, we can consider it as a positive way rather than a negative way, is what I feel.
Well, see, there might be contradictions, right, to every fact, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to do this more often, right? Because you're kind of interrupting me every time. Okay, let's go. So, see, this is how it goes. Anwar. Anwar is, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah, yeah,
I am.
perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Anwar, as for the Neuralink, see, the positive sides could be, it could have helped Stephen Hawking a lot with his motor neuron diseases, right? But what if it might have, turned out to be a disaster? See, there have to be experiments tested, right? For everything to be outside on the market. So we as humans, we do not test things on humans, right? Because we sympathize, we empathize, it's not legal for whatever reasons. We test them on rats. Okay. So do you think rats have the ability to process thoughts as we do?
Yeah, rats to some extent have the ability, and I would like to contradict your point that these experiments are not taking place on rats, but they are taking place on pigs recently.
Mhm.
Like the three
Okay.
pigs, they are experimented on pigs rather than rats.
Okay.
So I think pigs would be like better than rats, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they are in a comparison with humans, they are not up to
Mm-hmm.
the mark, but we can say they can represent human, like they can be a representation,
Mm-hmm.
not
Okay.
same but similar. It's kind of
Yeah,
that.
okay, I get your point. So you're telling me that these experiments are being taken place on three pigs, right? And it's going positive. See, for why do you think corona vaccine took so long to be out on the market? Because of the tests, right? Because they've tested it on other people, like the other species, and then on people, and then now it's out on the market. So that is how it goes. Just three pigs is a way big risk to take for humanity, right? So there might be, if you do know about a bit more, experiments that have been taken place and are going in positive ways, then I swear to God, I'll conclude my statement with saying that Anmay you won. I'm convinced.
Yeah, but if you look at the big picture of it, there is a topic that showcases that we have to promote, and promotion doesn't mean implantation or implication right now.
Okay, so what you're telling me that अभी हम marketing कर रहे हैं Neuralink की.
Of course not. We are
Then
trying to
what did
find
we
a
exactly mean?
solution. We are
Mm-hmm.
trying to find a solution on the topic
Mm-hmm.
which is Neuralink, and we are
Right.
deviating it from Neuralink to
No, we are
vaccine or
not.
some
I'm just
kind of
trying to convince
experimentation.
you. No, 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 no. We're not. I'm just trying to convince you that to promote a certain, like as you said, we are here to promote it, right? To promote Neuralink, it should be worth it, right? It should be worth the promotion, don't you think?
And why
And it
don't
will be
you
worth
think it is not worth?
because, as you said, just three pigs, experimentations, and positive outcomes, right? And three pigs are way too big of a risk to take for humanity.
But
I empathize with three pigs.
three pigs are right now they are experimenting. They are still in
Hmm.
progress, and they
Hmm.
have not yet established anything outside that. So they are
Okay,
promoting
perfect.
it in
You just
animals and
contradicted your
also.
statement, Anwar. You told me that the outcomes were positive, and now you state that there is no outcome, right? Like you're not
I didn't
properly
state that
mentioning.
it is not a outcome isn't there. I told the experimentation is still going on.
Exactly. So that is, what I could comprehend, and I was about to tell you before you cut me down, right? So you try to, listen a bit more because see, when you listen, you might, get what do you call it? See, when you listen, you get more knowledge, but when you speak, you're saying what you already know.
Stick to
Don't you
the
think like
topic,
that?
Vishwakaran.
I
Stick
am
to the
not
Yeah.
topic.
getting why are you deviating from the topic.
Well, I'm not deviating from the topic. It's just three pigs are not convincing enough for me to promote Neuralink.
Yeah, but three pigs are not the sole example, right? It has
Then what are the other
advantages.
examples?
It has
Because see, it
advantages
is not
because
out on the market. It is not out on the market yet. Is a reason enough, right? Is a reason enough that it could be dangerous because there is a postulate that states if one thing is equal to the other, then both the things are equal. So I would like to state that if it is not out yet, it is a danger, right? That is how we like to think.
but promotion as in we have to promote it means we have to back it up so as we can get through it and solve the problems that it is getting at this time, right? So that what promotion means. And Neuralink is trying its
Well,
best to
yeah.
implement it in humans, like
Mm-hmm.
experimenting on certain species. Like first
Mm-hmm.
it was rats, then pigs, and then with time it would go on to the other animals, and then it would
Mm-hmm.
finally come to human, where it can be near to flawless. It won't be flawless because nothing can be perfect, but I think more than disadvantages there would be advantages of Neuralink because it is going to help the human to first of all establish the parts of brain that they have not yet discovered, and also the biology
Mm-hmm.
of the body that the humans are
Okay, so
not
now you're
able to
stating the
discover.
future and you're not stating the fact. So, like, I can contradictly state that in the future, what if if they try it on another species and the experiments fail, and then it does not get tested on humans and it is never out on the market. What then?
But you are deviating again from the statistics because the statistics
Mm-hmm.
show that it has a positive impacts on pigs. So if
Mm-hmm.
it is having positive impacts on pigs, we are taking an assumption that it would take a positive what we call conclusion
Anwar,
even in other
assumptions are
species.
not statistics. Assumptions are research and statistics are two very different things.
And if you see in physics, everything works on assumption first, and then the actual theory publishes. So I think that
That is the reason why it is called theory and it's not called a law. If
but
something is proved, it's a
then
law,
it
and
goes to law, right? First of all, the gravity is
not
considered as
everything,
10
Anwar.
and then 9.8 or something. But still,
Not
we are
everything.
deviating again from the topic. So I think we should stick to the topic rather than getting away from the topic.
You brought physics in, Anwar. I never did.
Okay, so you can continue with the topic.
Yeah. See, I'm still on that one statement. Neuralink is not worth it, and as you are stating the future is uncertain, my friend. Future is
Okay,
always
so can you
uncertain.
elaborate why are you against it?
See, what do you think is gonna happen once there are chips inside our brain, and now we can, um, I like to state it that way. Please don't cut me down. I swear to God, because you've been doing that for a long time, right? See, we are able to use our computers and everything with our brains, right? Is that what's gonna happen? So
Yeah.
yeah, I would like to conclude by saying that once this happens, there's gonna be a lot of things that are going to happen once our brains are connected to the software. There's no security. There are lots of risks just to take for our brain to get connected to the technology, right? So I would like to state that Neuralink is not to be promoted because I don't think Neuralink is worth it right now.
Okay, to conclude, I would say that Neuralink should be promoted because first of all, the statistics are showing positive results, and secondly, it is going to benefit the mankind by curing the disease and also some kind of paralysis of injuries that we can have, and it can also help us to explore the parts of brain that are yet to be explored by the scientist, or we can say the psychologist, that we are not able to reach till now, the subconscious mind. We can also discover this by the Neuralink, and I think that would be my concluding statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Anvan Hudaifa. That was a very riveting debate indeed. Both of you can now leave the meet.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up, we have Mustafa and Harshita. So your topic is cybersecurity being neglected by businesses? One of you can choose a side.
I'll go with
Heads
heads.
or tails? Heads, okay. Harshita, heads. We have heads. So Harshita, would you like to go for or against?
Yeah, I would like to go for the motion.
Fine. So you have 3 minutes to prepare now. We'll take a break until then. Okay, Mustafa and Harshita, you can start your debate.
Okay. So, since our topic for today is whether businesses are neglecting cybersecurity, I would first like to tell you all about what cybersecurity exactly is. So, cybersecurity basically is about the protection of computer systems and all our digital information and to prevent it from disclosure out open in public. And this basically is a terminology which is used to prevent theft or damage of all our information and prevent it from leaking. So, in my opinion, I do believe that yes, businesses these days are neglecting cybersecurity to a large extent because, as per a particular survey, the 2019 IT survey about how secure businesses are these days, it says that one third of the organizations still feel that they are prone to cyber attacks, and if somebody hacks into the system suddenly, they won't be able to resist such attacks. So that would be my opening statement.
Okay, so I would like to start by saying that cybersecurity is not a huge issue among businesses because since we live in a modern world, people are already aware about the risks that come with it. And most of the businesses nowadays are online. They've already been protected by two-factor authentication, etc. And the small businesses who are actually at risk, they first of all don't have enough capital to invest in cybersecurity, and they are very difficult to configure correctly. So yeah, that would be my opinion.
Yeah, so keeping in mind all the factors which you mentioned, that there is two-factor security and all of the authentication and everything, um, would you ever conclude that we are safe technically and IT is purely safe and all the businesses are safe and none of the cyber breaches, sudden breaches would ever exist? Do you think that hackers don't exist at all? Is that what you're trying to convey?
I'm not saying that no system is perfect, but yes, of course, there are hackers, ransomware attacks everywhere. But still, some businesses do know how to take care, especially the large corporations. They have IT technicians working around the clock, 24/7, to detect these attacks and everything.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say here is I'm trying to look at the majority. Some organizations, as you mentioned, those are the large organizations who can afford to have an entire team which is responsible for the security and to keep the IT domain and all the all the records in the database safe. But when you look at the majority part of it, there are small or even mediocre level organizations which cannot necessarily afford an entire team right now which can which can prevent cyber attacks and cyber breaches. So currently, even if they might not wish to do so, but they have to neglect cybersecurity as of now to get the organization running. So that is what the current scenario is, and definitely they are looking towards it. There are many organizations which currently claim that they'll be hiring a team and they'll be looking into the security affairs because once it is leaked, the entire company is gone. So currently there is a potential of doing so, but right now it is being heavily neglected is what I feel.
Yeah, those are some good points. But I would like to start by saying that large businesses are not the ones which are particularly targeted, but the small ones. But they're the ones who actually, as you said, they don't have enough capital to invest in it. So there are some firewalls which are difficult, but the large mega corporations, they do have IT technicians who actually work around the clock to have cybersecurity. One more reason is that people use bad or failing passwords, weak passwords. But nowadays there are systems in place which can ensure password protection and which can auto-generate passwords for you. And then that's how most businesses can actually stay safe nowadays.
Yeah, so my point is not about whether security systems exist or not. I strongly believe that security systems exist, but my point is currently the businesses are neglecting it despite of the fact that there is availability of security systems.
Yeah,
Currently
that's what I'm
businesses
saying.
are focus let me complete. Yeah, so
Okay.
currently businesses are focusing more on their the development of their organization and not focusing or not spending much on investing much on cybersecurity. is what my point is. Systems exist, I agree totally. Security systems exist in the market today, but currently businesses are not focusing as much as they are supposed to. And again, a survey which was conducted claims that people who are working in such organizations, even they don't feel secure about where their personal information is being shared. So even they face such problems with their own organization. So that is what the point is, and they definitely have a potential of making it more cyber safe, as you call it. But currently, due to whatever reason, as we know, pandemic is going on and economy is lacking and all of that, so currently businesses are neglecting cybersecurity and focusing more on maybe the upliftment of their
Yeah, I
organization.
would like to offer a rebuttal by saying that because it's the pandemic time, people are mostly in their homes. Then a majority of their priorities are focused on cybersecurity because they can't sell, like they can't go to shops and market stuff. That's why they actually have more time to improve these cybersecurity measures. And a recent study also conducted that during the pandemic, security has also risen of these major companies. Then it's become almost not impossible, but it's significantly become harder to exploit them and hack them. Is
Yeah,
my point.
so as technology is getting advanced, so are the hackers and their ways of hacking into the system. So as the technology advances, and whenever we install a particular system with a particular level of security, we also need to keep in mind that the hackers are getting advanced too. And if I make a particular system and I make a I use all my cryptography skills which I have, and I make a very secure system, at the same time I need to keep in mind the potential which hackers hold at that moment, and how hackers can breach into it. Because as and when technology progresses, even the hackers and their levels do. So at the moment, businesses might be taking it into account, but not at the extent which they are supposed to. Because of course, COVID times has made all of us digital. Our education is happening online, all the transactions are happening online. So what I feel is businesses need to be a little more considerate about cybersecurity at the moment, and they are not focusing as much as they are supposed to.
Okay. Yeah, good points. But I would also like to add that since because it's a pandemic time, businesses are more likely to be exploited. Then again, as you mentioned, hackers, and are also white hat hackers, working for the police or the government, and even for the mega corporations who are trying day and night to resolve these issues. And also, like yeah, sorry, you can go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So yes, there are definitely as you mentioned, that there are people who are taking care of the hacking part as well. That's completely understandable. That's there. But what is happening right now is keeping everything in mind, keeping the current pandemic situation in mind, keeping everything in mind. Particularly businesses, if we stick to businesses which were facing a heavy loss due to pandemic, they are right now focusing on recovering that loss and not on cyber security. They're right now, their focus currently is how to basically regain what they lost, not even make profit. It's basically how to get where they were before, because currently if they were here because of the pandemic, they are here. So currently they're focusing on how to uplift their economy and bring it back to here, and then shift their focus towards cybersecurity. They are not prioritizing cybersecurity right away. Is what my concern is. I'm not trying to convey that businesses should, they are doing it, they are not doing the right thing by not making cybersecurity a priority. I'm just trying to analyze the whole situation here on how businesses are focusing on economy upliftment right now, and then prioritizing cybersecurity, which might work well for them again, but it's currently may not it might not currently work for the employees which are working there and the workers there. That's how I would like to
Okay.
conclude my debate.
Yeah, okay. So I would like to conclude by saying that yes, there are hackers and there are people who are more vulnerable, at least these days. But there are people who are putting more effort into combating these cyber attacks that nowadays now more than ever. And I would like to also add that even the most even by staying at home, you can spend more time combating these issues. And then that's how I would like to conclude my my opinion.
Thank you, Harshit and Mustafa. That was a very gripping discussion indeed. Judges, would you like to add your remarks?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
No, that's fine.
Okay, fine.
Nothing from my side.
So, fine. Next we have Harshita and Hudaifa. So, Mustafa, you may leave the meet. Hudaifa, can you switch on your camera? Yes, okay. You will spin the wheel now. Just a minute. So, your topic is, should there be any legal control over the development of technology? One of you go ahead and choose a side of the coin.
Harshita, you can go ahead if you want to.
Okay, I'll choose tails.
Fine. It's heads. Mustafa, Hudaifa, do you want to go for or against?
Mm, I'll go against.
Okay, fine. So you have a break of 3 minutes and then we'll come back to this.
Yeah.
Hudaifa
Okay,
and
so
Harshita, you may start your debate. Hudaifa, you can go first.
okay, so I'm purely against the motion that there should not be any legal control over the development of technology, because legal control, the government is not always thinking about the people, right? Because the technology eases our ways of living. It does a lots of wonders for us, right? And if there is a legal control over the development of technology, there are many things at the moment that we might not have if there were any legal control over the development. So that's about it.
Okay. So, firstly, what technology development is basically, so technology development basically, it is about the overall process of how we invent and improve our current technical assets and how we advance them. It's basically about that. So, according to me, there should be some legal control which sort of not resists but regulates the usage of technology right now, because if we exercise a legal control, if we exercise some amount of legal control over technology, it would basically imply that the users of technology, or maybe us as the consumers of technology, we will be able to gain our trust in it, because we all know technical accidents do happen. And if we exercise some amount of legal control, if the government maybe comes into picture, or at least to some extent it does, the people will become more the technology will become more accountable, and the entire technical working would become more transparent in the eyes of the people, and they would become more comfortable in using it, is how I would end my opening statement.
Okay, so Harshita, to add on, I would like to say that if there's a legal control over the development of technology,
Yeah,
see what you just talked about was the control over technology, right? Like how it should be governed, basically, is what you just stated at the moment. The topic
regulate.
that we have, yeah, regulation, right? But the topic that we are given is the development. So where the government would come into picture is, I'll tell you how it works, right? In the industries, if there's some new product that is about to be launched, it has to be gone, like it already has to go through a lot of government stuff, right? But this time it will be whether it should be out on the market or not, right? The question is directly going to be a yes or a no if there's a legal control over the development. So what if there's a no every time? Because technology का जो develop, like when the technology is developed, it's for the betterment of us, right? Because financial investors, they invest their money in a company, and then they take out the products, and in that way we become the stakeholders as well, right? We are the end users, right? So we buy products for them, in turn they get the profit, right? So they try to create more and more developments in the current technology for the betterment of us, for so because we're mutually sharing the thing, right? Because they're gaining profit from us and we are gaining the ease of life, correct? So if there's a legal control, so there's directly going to be a question of yes or no. So if there's a question of yes or no, then comfort might come into danger.
See, what you talked just about was whether a product already made should be launched in the market or not. It was about technical developments and not about giving products to the market, because that is as such gonna happen
Mhm,
after it has run through all its the formality and the documents and all of that stuff. That is still gonna
mhm,
happen. It's the question here about is technical developments, and some amount of regulation according to me would be necessary in this case, this scenario, because once a company decides once not a company once any organization decides to make certain technical amendments, it
mhm,
should be regulated to some extent, so that the government does realize that okay, this particular development is going to be useful for so and so thing. You take the example of Arogya Setu app, for example.
mhm,
It was a technical intervention which was brought in the COVID time. So
mhm,
if it is definitely regulated by the government, and the government does realize if it is actually we are not talking here about how effective the app is right now. It's we are
yeah,
taking
I
it
get your
as
point. Yeah, I
yeah, we
completely
are
understand. Yeah.
just considering it as an example, as a technical, basically a technical
Mhm,
development. I would call it as a technical development. So we are taking its example to realize that if the government does come into picture and does realizes that a particular technical development or a byproduct of technology which is being made might be useful
mhm.
for the might be useful for its consumers, it might just financially aid the organization.
Okay, look, the government already has a country to handle, is what I believe, right? And once, if the technology, the betterment, right, like the new product or the technical process, is it useful for us or not? It's for the company to decide, and it's for the end users to decide, isn't it? Because
So you are
mm,
trying to say that a company decides whether, a particular thing is useful or harmful for us, and not the government, because we are a democratic nation and the government does things for us. So can we single-handedly leave a particular thing on a company for us to decide? And what if technical accidents happen and mishaps happen, and then the government, and then the people will blame the government because the government is doing nothing, but then
no, no, no,
the
no, that
organization
doesn't
was.
happen. See, if some technical issues happen, companies directly to be blamed, right? Um, the organization is directly to be blamed if there is an issue, right? There is no government in the picture because it has not been till yet, right? And what I believe is, as I told you, right, the company, it does think for us and it develops technologies, and it is up to them for like, to decide. Because as I told you, we are the end users, right? We are gonna buy the product from them. The better the product, the more we are gonna buy. The more we are gonna buy, the more the sales, and the more the sales, the more the profit. So the better the product, more the profit is what
See, we
equation I
sitting
come up
here
with.
right now are nobody to question a company's goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
Scams happen, and the lust for power and the lust for money can make a company do anything and everything. See, Elon Musk as a tech is well respected in the technical world, and sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
does happen that what Elon Musk says becomes the word of the public and people follow it blindly. It may or may
Yeah.
not turn out to be
Mm-hmm.
a fruitful outcome for the public, but he does hold some power and some influence over all of us. So in
Yeah.
my opinion, if companies and the product and the technology they develop is not regulated at all, so people just might be blinded by it. In COVID times, when we all are inclined technically, we are
Mm-hmm.
students, are learning online, everybody is working online. So some
Mm-hmm.
people, still we are in the engineering background, so that's a totally different scenario. But then there are some people who are just aware of the bare minimum of technology, and they are not fully aware of what technology is. They are not aware of
Yeah.
the pros and cons of it, and they cannot you know
So
uh,
where does regulation come into play here? If like the people are not aware.
see, if the people are not, regulation does not come into play here. I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
the fact that if the regulation does not take place at all, and if the companies are given away the right to do whatever they want technically single-handedly, then I am trying to say is that there is
Mm-hmm.
a potential of technical accidents and mishaps happening, and a large amount of public might be you know fooled by it and might
I
face it
totally
out
get
as
your point, Harshita. You are the one who's not exactly, trying to understand my point. Regulation is happening. We are talking about legal control over technical development is what we're talking about. Regulation is control, but it's the bare minimum, and I believe that should happen, right? Because regulation honestly is negligible. You know, if we compare legal control over technical development and regulation of companies happen, it does, right? And what they're doing happens, right? And even after the government regulating stuff, as you told previously, if mishaps happen and we're going to blame it on the government, we blame it directly on the company. Because there are certain incidents where this happened, mishaps happens, there were chemical industries that collapsed and there were many people down, and we directly blame the company, right? We did not do anything to the government. So that is how it goes, Harshita, if you're getting my point, right? Taking legal control directly comes back to a
regulation.
yes or no.
Yeah, regulation by the government is itself some
See,
amount
what
of legal control, is what I'm suggesting. I did not ever say that it should completely lie in the hands of the government. Never. That was
hmm
not I suggested in the first place. The
hmm
debate itself was about should there be any regular control. So I am suggesting a substantial amount of regulation by the government, which itself, according to me, is legal control. It stands as legal control.
No, see, as I told you, legal control over technical development directly states the picture that comes into my mind is whether technical development, like for example, I develop something, right? And then I go to the government, and the government has legal control over technical development. And it tells me, even if the product is amazing, right? And they tell me that this thing is not gonna work and you cannot put it out to the market, so we would still be living at the Stone Age period of the time, is what I believe. So I would like to conclude that was my concluding statement. So that's about it. You can give yours.
Okay, so my concluding statement would be that we cannot organization who is making technological developments. There should be some amount of legal control exercised by the government in order to ensure a better safety of the consumers, and to make them more comfortable with technology and to gain their trust in technology. Because I believe that as users of technology, we always try to doubt about developments and stuff. So if there is some amount of control exercised by the government, that would surely make the current case scenario of technical developments better.
Well done, Hudaifa and Harshita. Judges, any remarks?
Nothing from my side.
I was
Same here.
just wanted to say it was a good debate, and like really glad to see you followed our feedbacks that we gave you and like uh, took a control of time and okay, yeah, that's it.
Okay. So Harshita and Hudaifa, you may leave the meet. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Mustafa, can you turn on your camera?
Yeah, just a sec.
So this is the last pair of the day and the last debate, that is Anvay and Mustafa. And your topic is, does internet need censorship? One of you, please choose a side of the coin.
I'd go with heads.
Fine. Okay, it's heads. Mustafa, for or against?
I would like to go for the topic.
We have 3 minutes from now, and then we'll start the debate. So this is our last pair for the day. That is Anvay Deshpande and Mustafa Atalwala. And you can now start your debate, guys. Mustafa, you can go first.
Mustafa, you're mute.
Mustafa, you're on mute.
My mistake. I'm sorry. I would like to begin by saying that the internet is a wonderful technical marvel. It has lots of advantages and of course liabilities as well. And today I discuss on the topic which is known as internet censorship. Internet censorship, I believe, is very important for the benefit of the internet as and our society as a whole. And that's my opening statement.
Okay, so as I am going for against the topic, first of all, censorship means the control over access, publish, or viewing of anything on internet. That would be the censorship of internet, and I am against it because censorship that means one of the organization would come into play and control the situation. So everything would be in the hands of the organization that is controlling the internet. So what I feel is censorship of internet should not be done at this stage.
Okay, so one of the first and major points for censorship is that it limits access to harmful sites and sites which put people at risk. Now, for example, the internet is full of explicit content and fake news. Now, internet censorship disbars this from happen. Like for example, you see a lot of children nowadays are online. They have their schools, they go on YouTube for parents use YouTube as babysitting tool for their kids, and that's why we definitely need the censorship to protect them from harmful content. And it's an immense pro for censorship. It also helps against identity theft. Now there are millions of fake profiles on Facebook, Twitter, etc. And censorship helps them, inhibit the process of identity theft. Yeah, that's my point.
Okay, so the last point that you mentioned about identity thefts, I would like to say that identity thefts can be minimized by using cybersecurity. But if you see the actual costing for cybersecurity is far more, and if we start spending in cybersecurity for censorship, then I think the development of the country or the state that is hiring the cybersecurity would go like to far less extent than it is going. Like the developing countries can't afford such a high rate because even the hackers and the cyber security need to be experts in their own field, and then only they can enter into such a zone where they can censor the material, because they need to segregate the material first and then censor it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you 100%. Yeah, developing countries, they don't have enough capital to invest in cybersecurity. I get that. That's why it's easier to censor because you just mentioned that it's cybersecurity. It's quite expensive, but censoring these hacks are a lot more easier because nowadays you can find almost any profile on the dark web. And I think you already know the concept of the dark web. I don't need to explain it. So that's why we need censorship to prevent people from going to the dark web and have their identity stolen. And that's how it also prevents any attacks to national security. There are multiple attacks against our national security every day, but censorship helps prevent that. And of course, with cybersecurity as well. But censorship helps that more deeper, and it's a lot more effective. It's trans.
Can you please elaborate how would it secure the national security? Because I don't like find any relation to cyber secure to censorship and getting hacked or other countries attacking on the network. I don't think censorship would help that. How would that help? I'm not very, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, censorship would help because, for example, most sites on the dark web or even on the internet, they're like honeypots. Like for example, you visit a site, your IP address gets tracked. Law enforcement can track you if you have malintent, of course. If you're looking for that's not the point. But if you have malintent, you go to that site. They're mostly honeypots. They can track you, and they can prosecute you for those if you have malintent, of course.
Okay, but what you are specifying is if you like today also go on Chrome and search anything, your IP address would be visible to the Chrome and the organization and anyone who has the access to the database. So that was the logic why VPN was developed. So I am not really comfortable with you specifying that censorship is helping to prevent us from getting hacked. Like I don't find any relation to that. And secondly, dark web is a
I'm not
place that
saying.
can't be accessed easily. Dark web is a place that only specific browser have access to, and not Chrome or any like Internet Explorer or the Safari. They don't have access to the dark web. Only Tor has the access to the dark web. And what I feel is censorship of internet doesn't mean that your IP address would be hidden or something. It would be just the control over the internet and not something else such as hiding the IP address or something.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. But again, I must say, if you have malintention, then of course the government must track you because for if I put if I put on a tweet saying I'm going to bomb the parliament, of course that's going to bring a lot of attention towards me, and I'll be tracked. All of my online attention will be tracked. Now, if I Google something like how to buy pen or pencils, of course they won't pay much attention to me. If I have malcontent, of course, then of course I'll be tracked, and my IP address would be like. That's why, yeah, VPNs, of course, you said VPNs also have great use, but then again, if you have malcontent, they should be allowed to track you and prosecute you because how else are they gonna track you,
Yeah.
prosecute you?
Okay, I understand your point, but what I think is what you are specifying that you are tweeting something. So, don't you think that tweets would come under the expression of freedom that is given in the Constitution? Expression of
Yeah, of course.
freedom
I'm not
of
saying that they
speech.
should prosecute absolutely immediately. Yeah, let me explain. I tweeted something. That's my freedom of speech. I'm exercising my freedom of speech. But of course, that's going to bring a lot of attention to me. That's not going to, yeah, I'm not going to have agents knocking on my door and, arrest me right away. But that will bring attention to me because I, tweeted something either ironically or, I have some malcontent. So yeah, of course, there should be, attention brought towards you if you, post something like which
Okay,
is, harmful to national security.
okay. So, I
And also, I
understand
would
your
like to
this
add one
point.
point.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go
I also
ahead.
like to add one more major point for internet censorship that it obstructs fake news. Nowadays, you see the social media, there are plethora of sources for fake information and misinformation, especially during around this pandemic. Now you see there are websites on Facebook everywhere which are providing false information about vaccines, masks and everything. This is this is actually helping this is not helping the combat the pandemic in any way at all. That's why censorship is very important.
Yeah,
Yes.
so to your points, all the points that you mentioned, I would like to say that the censorship won't give, don't you think that it would transfer the power from the people to the government? Because it is having a control on a system and the control is in the hand of government and the government can spread any news through them, which can't be verified by anyone because it is not spread by individual but an organization. So the organization would be the culprit, no one would know it. So how would censorship help there? Because censorship would be used as a tool to
Yeah.
manipulate the people. Like in China, they have censored the internet and
Yeah.
they are manipulating people for their own selfish needs, right? So how would you
Yeah,
justify that?
definitely. I agree 100%. Yeah, China is a major example. But then again, we are not China. We should learn from them, and we should not treat them like as an instruction manual, but a warning that those things shouldn't happen to us, and we should regulate our internet censorship. So I would like to conclude by saying that yes, all, if it's done in a limit, can be extremely helpful not only to for citizens, for the government as well. I'd like to close on that opinion.
Okay, so to conclude, I would like to say that you mentioned the points such as dark web, national security, malintentions, fake news, and also instruction manual that you specified at last. But yeah, if you look at India, it is using the American Constitution or America as the instruction manual. So why can't it use China? Like government can take the China's role model and also manipulate the people. So what I feel is censorship should not be on the internet because it would give a major power to the government, and the government would use it as a tool to manipulate the people and get their selfish need out of the people. And that's all that I need to say. Thank you.
Actually, that wasn't my point. I was saying that yes, China is actually, it's a violation of human rights because they have censorship over here, like
You have
on this
concluded,
level.
right?
Okay, yeah, fine.
Well done, Mustafa and Anvay. That was a very nice discussion. Judges, do you have any remarks for this pair?
So I had a question. How would the role of OTT come in here? Online platforms, like for example, Netflix and Amazon Prime. We get a lot of news that this or this, so and so shows were cancelled because there was something offensive, racist, sexist, all that kinds of stuff inside the show. So what would your viewpoints be about this? Like with respect to
Shall I go first?
no, like you could decide.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what I feel is censorship for OTT platforms and social media network is necessary because OTT platform is something that is viewed by a majority of the age group, and the psychology is evident that what we see or what we hear is what we become. So what I feel is OTT platform should be censored so as to get the right content and to make the people take the right decision because it also influences their cognitive ability. So that is what I feel. Censorship
Yeah,
of OTT platform is necessary because it also
am I supposed to speak for or against?
yeah.
Yeah. Am I supposed to speak for or against Anvay? Yes.
You can speak
I
your
guess
opinion. You can speak
yeah,
your opinion.
open
Okay,
and right.
yeah. Even I believe, yeah. If a show or any media has like a extremely offensive content, then yes, it should be censored. But if they are just perceived as jokes or just for humor, then they shouldn't be censored because yes, of course, they can affect our humor, our cognitive abilities and our emotions as well. You shouldn't let them affect you. You should form your own opinion at last. That's my opinion on that.
Okay, I had a point on this. Shall I?
Yeah, sure thing.
What he said that it shouldn't let affect us, but what I feel is it all happens in subconscious mind and not the conscious mind. What you see, you mimic it unintentionally or subconsciously, and it's not in your conscious mind. So I feel complete constraining from the censored material would be better choice because the jokes and comments that you mentioned can be a subjective term because for some people they may be violence or some people they may be jokes. So I guess the censorship should be strict at OTT platforms.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
should I
all.
refute or?
Okay.
Like, if you want, that's fine.
Uh,
Like it won't be considered in your evaluation or anything, so you could speak your mind. That's fine. I just wanted an opinion. Like you kind of missed on these points, like OTT or porn regulation or child trafficking that happens due to porn regulation or not unregulation. So these are kind of the important points that you could have joined.
Mentioned in that, right? Yeah.
Like it's
Right,
fine. Like
right,
you
right.
have a plethora of options when it comes to censorship, right? It's a really important topic as well as a current topic, I would say, because there's a lot of research and debate going on when it comes to this topic. So there's a lot of options to talk upon, but the time was limited. So I do get that you had to cut it short. But I just wanted to get your point. Like, what does the younger generation? Okay, what younger generation? I too am a younger generation. But what do you think of it, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
So yes,
Okay.
you refuting point, Mustafa.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to also say that yes, while they may be jokes, but if you're affected by them, then you already have problems to begin with. Like you should always form your own opinion. Like if you only look at one source, it's biased. Of course, it's going to be biased. If you look at multiple sources, then of course, yeah, then you have enough knowledge to form your own opinion and your own stance on that.
Yeah, rightly said.
Mustafa and Anvay, you may leave the meet. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Abhishek and Aishwarya, if you would like to express your views on the overall event.
Okay, so when I see complete debate right from the first discussion till now, it took like it was some completely new and completely in a technical domain. I have personally not seen it before. Like I was not even part of such debate like ever before. So it was completely new experience. And thank you so much, technical team, to like set up this event so that it could be followed in EPC. So thank you so much to all the coordinators, volunteers, and secretary. It was like great feeling to be part of this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abhishek.
So, I would actually love to thank our technical secretaries of last year who put out so much of time and actually thought they should help out the next year's team and come to this event. And I really feel glad that I could witness an event by three generations of technical committee. I could see the coordinators, the current secretaries, the last year's too. And yes, a few brownie points for the amazing topics given by you all. I really loved the topics. They were apt and they were to the current topics. And I really feel proud because you were impartial and fair for assigning the topics to. I could see you put the heads and tails thing, you put out the spin wheel for the topics, and very well done by the finalists. And I just waiting for the results now.
In our
Thank you,
family, just have a
Aishwarya.
lot of free time on our hands, so this was really a problem for us. That's it.
And,
So
and,
this
and
event,
I would take this opportunity to appreciate the technical team. I mean, we have seen these guys, the coordinators and secretaries. They worked under us as coordinators and volunteers, and to see them grow like this and holding an event such big, and especially in an online format, which is not easy. So I'd really like to appreciate them, and like I can say that we are so proud of you.
And thank you, Mehul, for putting me on the spot. Now I'll have to speak something. So, uh, so
So you're the bad cop, so it's okay.
okay. So we had this concept of good cop, bad cop back when we were secretaries. I used to like scold them, and Mehul was the good cop. So
Yeah.
it's good to see the tables turn.
Not them, only me, only me, not them.
So this was a fun event. I really enjoyed it. It was good to like come out of our shells and talk about something that we're not comfortable with, because it is really important given the current circumstances that like we've got some opinions that we form and that are solidified over the course of time. So I was really happy that students went against what their notion was before. So that is something that's really exciting when debates happen. So you always have to think out of the box and not something that you're accustomed to. So that was something that I really enjoyed. So kudos to the participants, I guess, if they're seeing this. And thank you, secretaries. I don't know, like this is kind of cliche, but really proud of you guys for doing this. And yeah.
okay. So this event was an outcome of the technical team wanting students to discuss about the various technological trends that are going on in today's world. All the four finalists that we had today were first year students, and it was amazing to see them have such confidence in the first year itself. We saw each person debating with one another, so we had 6 debates, and this actually shows their vision, personality, and character. We thank you all for joining, and we will get back soon with the results. Thank you, guys. Welcome back, everyone. We finally have the results with us, and I will now hand it over to the judges.
Yeah.
Okay.
So uh, yeah, go on,
Go ahead,
Vairish,
go
go
ahead.
on. Yeah.
Okay, so it was a tough decision, and each and every participant who was the finalist in our tech debate is very much appreciated in the way in the way in which they presented themselves. So for the results now, so the first position, sorry, so let's start with the second position. So the second position is Harshita Jain. Congratulations, Harshita.
Thank you.
And the first position goes to Anvay Deshpande.
Thank you.
You are exceptional, buddy. Really. That's the result, guys.
That's it from
Mehul
our
Pratham, would you like to
Yes.
say something?
That's
Go, Pratham, go on.
Is the live still on? Like you could cut it
Yes,
now.
yes.
The thing is done now.
Yeah.